Man, his agent calls me and said, he calls me and he said, "Gangsta motherfucker." I said, "What happened?" He say, "Man, this boy just ran a 1949. I literally said, "What?" I like you got on some skates, you know? And bro, I literally ran across the track while a race was going on through the middle of the field. And I said, "Are you serious?"
Hey, what's going on, y'all? Welcome back to MJP TV, where we put track and field first. We're here with a very, very special guest, Coach JDot. If y'all don't know who Coach JDot is, he is the coach of Erriyon Knighton, as long as the proprietor and the head coach of My Brother's Keepers Track Club and Speed Capital. This man is doing amazing things in track and field. Coach JDot, take it away.
Man, appreciate you, Matt, man. It's an honor and a blessing, man, to be on your show. I follow you, man. I just love the content that you consistently put out, how much of a big true track fan you are and a student of the sport, and just all of the amazing people that you follow, the athletes that you follow, and, you know, just giving everybody that visibility for what they're doing in the sport. So I'm just blessed and happy to be a part of it, man. Let's get into it.
I'm glad you're here. So let's start off with, so just give us a brief summary of who you are, JDot, where you're from, you know, your history leading up to this point.
Yeah, Jonathan Terry is my full name.
The government name.
The government name. But Coach JT, Coach JDot, or the Joe Clark of track and field. I don't play no games, you know. I've been coaching, let's say I ran track back in high school, college, you know, I went to go walk on, but ended up pledging my fraternity, Phi Beta Sigma International Fraternity Incorporated. Decided that I wanted to do that more than track. Fast forward, found out when I was here in Tampa, found out that they started U-Track at such a young age, something that I didn't even know about coming from my hometown out of Fort Pierce, Florida, born and raised. Moved to Tampa back in 2003 for college at the University of South Florida, where I graduated with my bachelor's degree in interpersonal communication. Went on to Springfield, Mass at Springfield College, got my master's degree in that. So, man, dog, track, just kind of always been around track all my life, you know, but to see that there was AAU track here in the city of Tampa was just amazing. I started my son off at the age of 7 years old. He's currently, 16 now. So we've been doing track since 7. I started off with my first track club, which was Phase 1 Track Club. I had 4 kids that joined that program with me. That program was more so a startup for kids in the first year in track. And then eventually you just move on. So I did 2 years there. I had a different vision of what I wanted for my son and, you know, some of the kids. You know, that's when I started My Brother's Keepers Track Club. Off of the Obama's initiative of My Brother's Keeper, and taking young minority men and taking their talents and using them for the greater good to keep them out of trouble. So that's pretty much what I did with, you know, MBK. Just took these young men, started an all boys track team, just to give them a different avenue. And not only that, you know, just teach them those life skills that they need in life, teach them how to be a man, teach them how to be my brother's keepers, hold each other accountable, take them out on trips, you know, whenever we're going out of state, out of town, for those kids that aren't able to travel like that. We're going on college tours, doing seminars and things like that, just to give them that overall experience. And I started MBK back in 2014. In 2017, I had a couple of girls on my team where they ran unattached, but they trained with me alongside of my daughter, who's a straight dog, Mackenzie. And shout out to my baby girl. And so the community was coming after me. They was like, yo, why do you have an all boys team but no girls team? Like, yo, you've been completely sexist. So in 2017, I made it official and started my Sisters Keepers Track Club, where we both train at the same time, have a different set of coaches, but we operate as far as grant-wise and travel-wise as two separate teams, but we all train together. And so that's how that happened with MBK. Erriyon came along, I want to say 2019, his first as a freshman, 2018, 2019 as a freshman in high school. Erriyon was introduced to track and field by his football coach. And believe it or not, like Erriyon always talks a lot of trash, but he's like, man, I always been good, but I was sorry. You know what I mean? Erriyon did hurdles. Erriyon did long jump. He was running the 800, just doing, he was all over the place, but he spent a good bit of his time injured. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he spent a good, they was using him and it was his first time. He always say, man, when I first started running, I was running the 23 seconds in the 200 and all of that stuff. So it was just one of the things where we just I got him the summer 2019, which was the end of his high school career, the end of his freshman year. He came to me and he was just like, hey, coach, I want to be coached up. I heard about your program. And I want to be a part. I want to be better. And it was on from there. We went on to we went to Disney, and he false started in 100. So he didn't get to run the 100. So he ran the 2 and the 4. And one of his biggest adversaries was Justin Braun, JB out of Ohio.
Yes. Shout out Justin.
Right? They had a great 400-meter run. They put on the show in the 4. Erriyon beat them. Justin had just came off an amazing state title. I think he ran like 46 or so that year. And then we went to JO's. And Erriyon, at the bottom of the age group at 15, he won the 200 meters. He went 21-2. And then Justin came back and beat him in that 400, which was an epic battle. And from there, it's just been up. COVID hit 2020. There was no high school season. He just got out of football. And then, boom, went to an AAU meet. He went 20.8. You know, I reached out to a few agents, was just like, hey, man, I got a special kid. Like, what do y'all think? 20.8 ain't nothing. I was like, dude, to go faster. Like, this, he hasn't been pushed. He can go faster. Now, holler at us when he do something faster. All right, cool. Go to JO's down there, Satellite. Erriyon goes 20.33, breaks Usain Bolt, U18 record. And then, boom, the rest is history. And so that's been it.
So let's backtrack a little bit. So what brought Erriyon to the team? Was it just his football coach knew you, or what was, the catalyst for getting him to My Brother's Keeper?
I think for him was, he was a part of coming out of high school. He joined his football's coach AAU team that he was affiliated with. And so I think the team just had a bunch of little kids, you know what I mean? One of those developing programs. And he was like, I want to give track a shot. I'll just, I just want to come over. His older boys, my age, he was cool with some of the bigger boys that was on my team. He played football, Part 1 of football with them. And then I want to say at that meet, he was just seeing the caliber of athletes and how they were competing. And that AAU meet, he was like, hey, I want to be a part of it. Reached out to his mom. His mom was okay with it. And this kind of was the birth of Erriyon Knighton. And over the years, we just developed such a great relationship, and just really trying to get his buy-in for track, because a lot of people don't know Erriyon was a 4-star.
He was recruited by Georgia, Bama, everybody.
Bama, everybody, like Nick Saban came down to come see him, you know. So, and football's always been his passion, you know. So to get him in a sport that was second to football, it was just like, man, this is your calling, this is your blessing, dude. You got a different type of gift, man. You got to give it a shot. And he bought in when he saw the 20.3. He was like, okay, well, I don't know what everybody's hype about, but I just ran fast. I was like, okay, you don't know what you just accomplished. So it was cool. And he just always, and still to this day, they're taking on that mindset that I'm not done yet. I can be better. I'm not where I want to be. And that's just where he at mentally. Until he get on that medal stand, go, you know, he's not satisfied.
Definitely. And then I want to backtrack even a little bit further just to talk about what kind of inspired you to be a coach, because I see all your posts and man, you love what you do. It's evident. You see it in all the videos, you bring the energy. It's amazing. So I just want to know, where does that passion come from?
Oh man, it's one of those things where, you know, with when you have the talent, but you don't take it serious. You know, you didn't have the resources, you didn't have the backing, you didn't have the coaching back then to be where you wanted to be. And I felt like I left a lot out there on the table when, you know, I ran track in high school. And granted, my son has already ran faster times than I did even as a senior. Like I was like a good Scottie Pippen or Dennis Rodman, a great role player, but never know MJ to be able to carry a team like how my son can. And so realizing that, like, dang, man, I kind of dropped the ball on this when I didn't have those resources. Let me pour into the kids. I got some knowledge. And I'm the type of coach where, you know, if I don't know it, I'll ask, I'll do my research. I'm always trying to perfect my craft and to get better in this sport. And I still don't know it all, even though I reached the highest level of coaching, which is professional. I'm still inspired by club coaches, trainers, collegiate coaches that, you know, I see the material that they put up and I see it and I watch it and I ask questions, and because I'm a fan of the sport. And to be able to see what track and field has done for a lot of these kids, to be able to take them places that they would have never gone, to be able to compete against kids and be introduced to our sport, whether they would not have, because everybody's so football heavy in sports these days, but track is where it's at. Track is the sport that translates to every sport.
I keep trying to tell people that. It's like, and I'm so surprised that you said his football coach actually brought him out there, because here in Texas, man, it is so hard to get those football guys out there. It's like the coaches don't want to work with you. So has that been easier for you in Florida, or is it the same thing?
You know, to be honest with you, it's once they get to high school, it's kind of one of those things where a coach got to understand what type of athlete he has, right? If that football coach don't really recognize and understand the positives and the good things about track, it's going to be a battle, because it's spring football to fall football. If you don't come to spring football, you're not going to be starting in the fall. So it's just one of those things that you battle. So when you have a coach that understands what type of talent he has, no, I want my kid to run track. You know, I want him to be a part of it. And I think that was one of the great things that I felt like Erriyon football coach did, was allow him to run track. A lot of people don't know Erriyon Knighton and Darius Rainey was a two-headed monster. I don't know a better tandem across the board in this United States. Those two was literally a walking 80 plus points together, ranging from the 100 to the 800. If you needed Rainey to dabble in the 1500,
he could do
that and go win that, throw to either one of them on a relay team. It was sick. Like Erriyon was splitting a 159, 158 easy, not one 1 and 2 in the 4x8. You know, going out there running a 46 split, you know, as a freshman, sophomore. So and I'm gonna tell you how great the two of them was, because when they left, when Rainey moved to Texas, and then Erriyon signed pro his sophomore year. That was the fall of that whole program. Those two literally took their team to a state championship and were runner-up. And they was putting up the points. So, man, shout out to Rainey, man, shout out to the Wings Track Club, because what they're doing with Rainey, I don't think that we would have been able to get Rainey to where he is right now. Like, I've coached Rainey since Pot Warner, since AAU, and he was amazing. We did some magic together, but what he did to Texas, he needed Texas. I cried when he left. You know what I'm saying? And I was happy for Erriyon because there was nobody in the stratosphere that could run with him. So we never knew how good he can be just running high school track. So it was the best thing that could have happened for him, because everybody like, why is he running pro? Nah, he needed it. And now we're proving to the world as to why he made that decision.
Man, because a lot of people question it because you don't think about it, but I know in a lot of people's heads, it's like, man, you know, the amount of, you know, track stars that come out in high school, turn pro and never do nothing, right? Mm-hmm. Like, was that a motivation for you to be like, nah, not this one?
It was a motivation, but like, I watched the kid train every day, literally every day. I know what type of mindset he has. I've literally watched him in his phone after races, just watches his videos over and over. I watch him progress from 2019 to where we are now, just become a student of the game. It's funny. I tell people this all the time. Me and my mentor, Coach Holloway, over at UF,
shout out Mouse. That's a GOAT right there.
The GOAT, the absolutely GOAT. And we literally had to convince Erriyon's agent and Adidas to let him go to the Olympic trials. And to your point, we've seen so many young kids that come out of high school that get signed and don't do enough, that don't do anything, or just never be where we thought that they can be. And so to be able to convince them and have to convince them to let him to run the trials, come in third place, 4th overall in the Olympics, break Usain Bolt's U18 and U20 record like over and over again, where Erriyon hosts the top 4 spots in both ages. It's just like, wow, like, we would have never thought this would have happened. No, y'all would have never thought that happened. But for us, me and Coach Holloway, to see the type of talent and the gift that he has, to see his work ethic, he's different. And he's gangster. I always, after every race, he runs some dumb time, I text all the big decision makers and from Adidas, and I was like, a gangster mother effer. A gangster mother effer. And I text her, and they always laugh, because he's fearless. And that's the one thing you got to respect about him, is that he's a gamer, and he's not scared of anybody. He's not. That's just how it is, and that's just his mentality, and so we grateful to have that. So it was a motivation to prove people wrong. When we're at meets, the cameras aren't on him, the cameramen aren't following him around, and I tell him, I say, use it as motivation, bro. You want to be at that stardom, cool. Nah, we love to be the underdog and fly up under the radar, and we go out there and just continue to shock the world, and that's what he's been doing.
And then you spoke about your relationship with Coach Holloway, him being a mentor. And I'll actually go to one of the fan questions for this one. So my boy, Bio Motorsport Institute, I'm not sure if you know him on Instagram, but he was saying, what advice do you have for young coaches trying to make their mark? And I know for me, at least, it was really finding mentors, right? So people like you, people like Coach Darius, Coach Will, who really poured into me. And for you, it seems like that's Coach Holloway. So how important is that for a young coach to get where they want to be, to have that kind of mentor?
Man, it's very important. And the reason why, sometimes we don't know where to start, and I try to always tell people, donate your time at the local level, at the AAU level.
Yes.
You build up, you learn the ins and outs. Whether you ran high school, you ran college, go back to the AAU level and provide that information, that mentorship to those kids. And for me, I'm so blessed that, Adidas honor, Eric and his agent honor our relationship and what we accomplished together. before him going pro. And a lot of times that happens where these athletes go pro and they're pulled from, whether they're high school coach or the club coach. So I just thought it was amazing for, Adidas to honor our relationship, but partner me up and give me a mentor that understands how to coach the kids from the high school to the college level and to be able to, and then to the pro level, a coach that knows how to mentor and manage, egos and personalities like Phil Jackson, to be able to bring you down, and so to be able to have him, at my disposal has been a blessing. To be able to ask him to be able to go to Gainesville, during that week that Erriyon goes up there and trains with this pro group with Grant Holloway for Grant to be a bit brother to Erriyon, to kind of show him the ropes as well. It's been great for me because a lot of times, Coach Holloway will ask me, all right, well, what do you got in mind? What do you think about this? And I give him an answer, and he's just like, dude, you just made that up. Like, give me logic. Like, give me the logic behind why are you doing this? Why would he run this? Or why are you doing this? And it's just like, okay, this is why. No, you keep making up stuff. We need those type of coaches and those mentors to be able to tell the who, what, why, in the where, and be able to explain to these kids, why are we doing well? Why are we going through this drill? What is the purpose of this workout? And he's been so great in being able to help me with that. To be able to kind of put a workout plan together. He gives the workouts, we put them up together, and to be able to explain to me as to why. And that way it mentors me to be able to go back to my AAU club, to be able to modify it for my high schoolers, as to why my high school is so successful. So to have that type of DNA, to have Coach Will, dog, he's the bad boy in track and field because he's giving you videos. Bad boy, baby, take that. Coach Marlin, like, you gonna get this hurt. You ain't gotta be in my camp, but you can learn. And that's where coaches gotta understand this gift. The knowledge that you've received over the years, it's not just for you, for yourself. It's for these kids. It's for other coaches, for you to mentor them, to bring them up. In the pandemic, I always laugh with Coach Will, like, bro, when track and field went dry, bro, you was out here making videos during COVID year, damn near illegally in the facilities, giving us work.
Busting in, hopping that fence.
Right, you was giving us work, boy. Like, man, it was crazy. Coach Gabe, man, oh my gosh, just to be on there and just be on calls with him, just to literally just hear him break down workouts. Coach Tremaine Peps, just to get his perspective of coaching, a GOAT like JB. You know what I mean? Like, it's amazing to see what the wings coaches are doing, like with Darius, Rainey from the 4 to the 8. You know what I'm saying? Just being able to take kids and make them hybrid runners to go from the 1 through the 4 or 1 through the 8. Just being able to learn that circuit, and you got to be open-minded as a coach to continue to progress. Ask questions, never think that you made it to the top and to where you got to stop learning. It's just what it is. You got to be a student of the game. I'm not afraid to take videos and be like, hey, coach, what you think about this? What do you see? I want to be in line with what you see and those things like that. And man, the relationship between Coach Holloway and I has been great. All of this success doesn't go to me. It goes to our whole team. Our team is small, from his strength conditioning coach, from his chiropractor, from, me, from Grant Holloway, from Coach Holloway, you know what I mean? And just making it a joint effort. It's just been great. He's still a kid at the end of the day. Right.
I think people forget that too. They see all these times, they see 20.3. They just saw 19.4 and they're like, oh, this is a grown man. No, this dude is still at home in algebra class. Like Michael Cherry said, he just happens to be one of the best sprinters in the world,
Right.
And I think it's important that people remember that. But I think he's so great, people kind of overlook that sometimes too.
Yeah. No, that's a good point, man. It's crazy. Erriyon still does all the high school things. He's at, he can't run with his high school track team, so he's out there with me with my high schoolers. We get our one-on-one time together. Then he has this time that I train him with some of my top sprinters and with my big distance, runners. Like he trains so that he has that high school feel. You know what I'm saying? That's that camaraderie. He'll go up to Gainesville with his pro group, and then he's in a pro atmosphere. You know what I mean? So we give him different feels so that it keeps it fun, it keeps it interesting, it keeps it intriguing for him. Erriyon, he likes to hang out, he likes to play video games, he likes to hang out with his friends, he likes to go fishing, he likes to do regular stuff, So we, like you said, we overlook his greatness and what he's accomplished. But at the end of the day, he's still a kid. He's an introvert until you get to know him. He dances, he cracks jokes, he'll roast you. He's a big trash talker in track practice.
Trust me, I've seen those text messages between him and Rainey. Them boys crazy.
They go at it like it's insane, man. But they're inspiration to each other. They respect each other. They may talk a lot of trash to each other, but they have a great respect, for one another, man. And that's what it's all about. He's a kid at the end of the day. And I try to keep him in that kid world. After this year, we're going to have to switch up our whole routine because now you're out of school. He gets up every day, goes to high school. After high school, once he get out of school, he goes sees a chiropractor, go get a massage or whatever. Then he trains, and then he has to go home and do his homework. And that's a full day, So now that school will be out, he graduates, on the 24th. Now we got more time on our hands. So it's probably weight room in the daytime, maybe potentially probably take a semester off and then go to community college, get some schooling in to bypass this time, train, and then we travel and we get it in.
So to talk about the training, we have a lot of questions about this. This is probably the most requested thing. They want to know the secret sauce. So they want to know, what does a normal week look like in training for Erriyon? They want to know like weight room, what time is he doing it, what exercises, track, is it an acceleration day? Is it a strength day, special endurance, speed endurance? Kind of give us a breakdown of what a typical week would look like in the month of, let's say, month of May.
All right, so we kind of cater the workouts to, whatever event that he's running, for whatever meet that he has, whether it's the 100 and the 200. So Monday would typically be straight race model day for us, which I like to call it. So right now let's say a Monday. Yesterday we always do our 40 meter at cells. We do about 3 40-meter cells in the grass. And then we'll go on to the track. We realized that the one thing that he's struggling in his 100 is the starts. So what we're doing is we break down the 100 for him in starts. So he'll go 2 30-meter cells at a 3-point stance. Then he'll go 2 3-meter starts, which is this initial push out, firing that arms back. Then we'll go 2 10 meters starts. Then we'll go the first 40 meters. And then we'll end practice with maybe 1 or 2 we'll do like 120 meters, which is a rolling 100 meters. So it's a 120, we time the last 100, right? His Tuesday will be probably more like a speed endurance day. Let's just say we run in the 200 this week. We'll probably go, we'll do like a speed endurance strength day. So we'll do a 450 at 55 seconds at the 400-meter mark and flats. We'll come behind that with the 350. We'll run that at 45 to 46 seconds. You'll stay in the flats. And then we'll do 2 40-second runs with that 25 to 26 seconds at the 200-meter mark, stretch and be done with it. That's Tuesday. Wednesday is typically come out, do an 800-meter jog, 4 100-meter striders, stretch, and get out of there. Then we'll have like a day that was just strictly on the race on the potential race that he'll run. So we'll probably do our 40-meter at Sales. Then we'll do that in the grass, and then we'll go on the track. Probably do 2 40-meter accelerations on the track, and then we'll do 2 20s. We'll do 2 20s, 20-minute rest in between, call it a day, stretch, go home, right? And then that Friday is another one of his heavy days going into the weekend. He'll probably do like a 300-meter run, 40 seconds, or 40-second times, walking 100. Then he'll do a 200-meter run, 26 seconds, walk 100. And then he'll do a 100-meter run, 12 seconds, walk 100. And we'll do that set twice, a 400-meter walk in between. Boom, Saturday off, Sunday off. On the speed endurance day, not a speed endurance, but a sprint day, it's kind of like the same setup, race model, get into probably 2 150s. On a Tuesday, we'll go all out on those. Boom, stretch and be done, right? Wednesday, 800-meter jog, four times 100-meter striders, go out, boom, stretch, be done with that. Then his Thursday will probably be that race model day. We'll probably run maybe 2 200s, full out, all gas, 20-minute rest in between after his cells, and call it a day. Or we may start that practice off 50 meters into the curve. From the start, we'll run 50 meters into the curve, do about 2 of those, 200 meters or 220s, boom, and Thursday. And then that Friday, which is his speed day, we'll go 150, 150, 100, 100, boom, and flats. That's the set. 12-minute rest in between. Then we'll come back. We'll do a 150, 150, 100, and flats on the track. 12 minutes in between that rest, and then we'll end it with a 150, 150, boom, stretch, go home. So it's more, Erriyon doesn't have a lot of volume in his races. If there is volume, he's in his flats. We're about, I'll say maybe 5 to 8 seconds off of normal time, just really working on form, breathing, just opening up the strides. He's doing it in a shorter distance, but he's still getting the work. We'll do that. His sprint days, max effort days, boom. We're doing 2 of them. After we build up, we do ourselves. We prep into the race. We doing 2, boom, and we out of there. End of the day. More quality work. High quality work. And it's done. And a lot of times what I learned in the AAU world, we're so volume-based. It's a lot of volume, and it's just not enough rest time. Everybody's like, why does he have so much rest time? Well, you want max effort, right? They need the quality rest. You know what I mean? We're out here coming with dumb workouts, 450 with 3-minute rest in between, 300.
6, 4, 3, 2. Your kids gonna die.
It's crazy, like, man. And, Coach Will made a post on there, like 400-meter runners, they don't run anything over 300. And I get it. You run those 450s, those 600s in the fall season. You know what I mean? And for sprinters, you break them up. You can do a 600 and do a broken, 600. You can go 3-2, 3-2-1, or 3-1-1-1, just however you want to do it. But I just don't feel like these sprinters should be running 30-meter runs and all that stupid crap, running 800s, 650s. You're compromising the mechanics. You're compromising the speed. Because once you get in season, all of your work should have been done in the fall. You know what I'm saying? As far as endurance and getting stronger, I feel like track, once you're in season, it's all maintenance, fixing up mechanics and things like that, and it's just taking care of your body, So I've seen a lot of crazy stuff on the forums, and I love Will. He always starting stuff up.
Oh, man, he is a fire starter. Because I think people really didn't get the essence of that. It's like you can still do a 600, right? you can just break it up into two different parts. You feel me?
Yeah.
Where you don't have to compromise on anything, really. You can get your speed and your form, but you're still getting the distance you want. I don't think people really let that sink in, where he's not saying, like, just like you have 450s in your program, wings, we still run a 500, but it may not always be together. You know, we might break that sucker up. It's a 300, 200. You feel me? Or it might be 400, 100 one day, you know?
Yeah.
Where most of, like you said, the heavy lifting is done in base work, where now it's, you know, what's tough as a club coach though, is when you get kids who will come from school, right, who haven't been in your program, and you kind of have like a level 100 kid, right, like Darius, Rainey, you got level 75, level 50, level 10, and level 1 all in the same practice. So it's hard in that sense, where you kind of have to remember this kid doesn't have the base. So I need to, you know, tailor him a little bit differently. This kid's already elite, so he doesn't have to do this workout. You know? And I think learning that as a coach is crucial, to where you have to know the developmental age of the kid too. Is this kid new to track? Can they handle this workout? You know, like I'm not going to throw a kid out there and have them do 3 broken 400s if they've never even, you know, ran in a track meet. So I think there's a lot that goes into that. And it's a very powerful conversation, because I think there's a lot of crap in track and field, right? Kind of like we rag on the 10-200 workout. Like, what are you accomplishing? Running 10-200s at 30 seconds. You know, that sounds like a warm-up to me. You feel me? So
no, it's just that, man, we as coaches, we have to understand, and to your point, there's different levels, you know, when you're coming from high school and then track. Like for me, I coach all the starters. Like all of my big kids that's been in my program, you know, my AAU program long enough, like they got the base work. They know what's expected. They know the standard. They got a different body of work. So I give them to my other coaches, you know, to coach them up. And then, you know, for me, I love the process. I enjoy the process. I love seeing a kid come from just not being able to do, you know, an A skill up into being able to kill an A skip and be able to apply force to the ground, to be able to run with great mechanics from the very beginning. I love to see that process as they continue to drop time. So I'm the one that will separate them from all of my veterans, and I coach the younger kids. You know what I mean? I coach the brand new kids that just became or just was introduced to track, because it's more glorified to see that type of winning, or to see that type of development as a coach. Whereas you have these coaches that hide and mask behind athletes that they recruited or taken from another track team, because, hey, I'll give you free registration. Hey, I can do this better than you, like than their coach. You know, you have a lot of that going on. And so for me, I think coaches that do that, they hide the fact that they have the inability to coach. And I think that's what it is. And I call it how I see it. A spade is a spade. If you have not developed more than 10 kids in your program, you know, year after year, that's, you know, top 8 in that JO talk for nationals, or you got kids that are going to state, like I'm questioning your development as a coach. Like, what do you know? You know?
And that's a huge problem here in Texas, because we're so talent rich. I'm sure it's in Florida too, where just as long as you get the athletes and all that, that's all you need, really.
Yeah.
And you have people who don't truly understand what it means to develop someone, and how to take a kid from 8th grade all the way up to senior year. They can only take them from junior to senior year, right? Because then all the work's already been done, you know? It's like, it's the difference between the chef and the cafeteria lady.
Yeah.
The chef can get in the kitchen, he can cook that thing up. Sometimes the cafeteria lady, all she can do is reheat. That's it. Stick it in the microwave.
That's it, dog. That's it. And people ask me, it was just like, Erriyon is gifted. God gave it to him. Dude is just, he's an athlete, you know. He just has a gift. But you look at Erriyon's running style from 2019 to where he is now, like that's the development of the coaching, right?
Yes.
It's already there. Like he's gotten faster because he's learned how to run. He's understanding the game, his mechanics. is better. He's understanding race model. Boom, the gift was there. So it's just like, oh, Coach JT, boy, you got it. Yeah, he's there, but he was gifted. You know what I'm saying? You got kids like Rainey. Rainey, he's an athlete. I always tell Monster, I always tell you, you are the greatest athlete on every track and every football field that you touch. You're the greatest athlete. I tell him that every time I talk to him. And he's just that, like he's just a pure athlete, but he's a grinder. He's gifted, but he's a grinder. He asks questions. He wants to be better. He's just that type of kid. You know what I mean? Justin Brown is probably the same way. You know, like Coach Pepper always say, Justin Brown can probably coach better than half the coaches probably in the state of Ohio or across the world because of his intellect, because of his IQ for the sport, because he asks questions. He listens to his coach. He asks questions. He has a coach that's not selfish, that doesn't think that he knows everything. All of those things play a part. So when it comes to the development of the kid, you have to trust the process as a coach. The parent has to trust it for their kid, and that kid has to touch it. Because some of these coaches and some of these parents think coaches are Houdinis. And I'm just like, bro, that ain't it.
It's gonna, I can't work magic without, something. You gotta give me something. At least feed them the right things, make sure they're getting their sleep. Because, as a coach, you can only control what happens in practice. I can't control the other 22 hours in the day,
Okay. You can.
And I think one thing you really hit on that's really important is the willingness to be a student of the game. And I wish a lot of our younger kids, I think they're getting it now, they don't realize the opportunity they have in these next 4 years. Like for some of our intermediates, that's the group I really want to see. I know for us at Wings, our young men, they're going to be great. All we got to do is make sure they get to JOs healthy and they're going to do something incredible, right?
Yeah.
My main project this summer is my intermediate boys, right? We got a lot of 8th graders, a lot of freshmen coming in. I want to see them do something great. And I think the group is slowly getting, I can get you where you want to go, right? If there's something I don't know, I'll tell you, hey, I don't know that. I'm gonna go figure it out though, right? We're gonna solve this problem. And I think the issue with a lot of kids nowadays, at least some of the kids that I've interacted with, is the focus. I get they're 8th grade, they're 9th grade, but I think that's what separates the great from the good. The good, they'll come to practice, they might try or listen, every other day. The great ones, it's not necessarily just because they're talented. It's because they put the work in, they listen, and you don't have to force them to do anything. They're willing.
For real. Most deaf, man. And that's what it's all about, man. I tell my kids, I'm going through a rebuild right now. Over the past 2 years, I completely rebuilt my team over, because where we lack at is it's almost like we get so focused on these high school kids till we forget that we got youth. And once those high schoolers are gone, like, what do you have left for your program? So you have to be replenishing those kids, those 7-year-olds, those 8-year-olds, the 10-year-olds, and you got to develop them along the way. Like my cream of my crop is transitioning from 8th grade and they're going into high school. Yes. Like in his group, they're sophomores, they're going to be juniors next year. But I have a bunch of new kids that have never ran track before. And it's just like, I want to pull my hair out. I don't have any hair, but it's a process. Yeah. Like I was mad yesterday in practice. I was just like, yo, what is going on? This ain't the NBK standard. Like, dog, you got to have will. I don't care about the talent. I need hard workers. I need dogs. I need kids that want to get better. And I want you violent. We run violent because we empty the tank. Whatever it takes, empty the tank on every rep, and that's my mentality. And a lot of kids that come over from other teams or kids that's first time running, like that's just the standard, and the standard is the standard. So you got to just be able to continue to develop year after year. And we're kind of MSK is kind of in that rebuild phase, and I'm okay with it. I know I have
it's going to pay dividends.
Yeah, it will. It works. I always tell my parents I'm that damn good. Or I always say my coaches are that good, you know, and we trust the process because track don't happen overnight.
No,
And when people understand that, man, that the wins, the PRs are glorified. We don't care about medals. Half the time, I don't even pick up those medals for the kids, you know, unless they want them. But I care about the progressiveness of their PRs.
Man, you're hitting it right on the head, and it's good for me to see. It's like it's not only just me dealing with some of the stuff I see. Because some of these kids, man, you be like, "Ooh, I want it for you so bad, but you don't want it for yourself." You know, and I think really I get the most joy out of those, right? You know, when coaching like a Chris Brinkley or Rainey, these are guys, they're elite, right? And to get the opportunity to coach them is a blessing, right? But really where I think I make my mark is taking the kid who comes out of 8th grade running a 58 and to see them their senior year, they're running 48, 47. That's, man, the amount of gratification and like, man, you know, I worked with this kid for like 3, 4, 5 years and to see him now, it's a whole different feeling, you know, because it's like you gave them something that's really they didn't even see themselves. So
nah, man, that's it, man. And people fail to understand the secret sauce. Me and Will, we talked about this, Coach Gabe, and a few other coaches, Pep, O'Shea, just a lot of different coaches. We talk about the secret sauce is the relationship with the kids. You know, it ain't just about what can I do for you on the track, but it's the relationship that's off. A kid that has a relationship with you, they will run through the wall for you. They will be 10 toes down. They will push beyond the barriers and the walls of pressure, of pain for you because they see none of that, because they don't want to let you down. They honor your sacrifices, the time away from your family, the time from your job, the time that you're putting in with them on the track, the time that you're texting them or on the phone with them, picking them up, meet them at the finish line, embracing them through a bad race or a good race. You're there, you're participating, you're at their high school stuff, their extracurricular things. They see it. It's the buy-in. And I think that a lot of coaches miss that secret sauce as to where their kid can be good versus great. And I know, you know, Will talked about that this past season. It was just that family atmosphere you're able to bring to your team, which creates the buy-in. And I see it. He gets it. He sees it. And every last one of his kids are producing at an even more higher level with him and Coach Odom. They're killing it because now the training was immaculate. Now the relationship building is there. Ain't nobody messing with you.
You can't. You literally cannot beat that.
You can't.
When a program is at their best, you have high-level culture, high-level talent, and high-level relationships.
Yep.
And all those things together, that's where you get greatness from, right? That's where you get a Coach Holloway with, he's been at University of Florida for decades. You get Coach Shaver, you get these people to where their relationship with their athletes supersedes, you know, anything they could do coaching wise. And that's what you said. It's literally the secret. You couldn't know nothing about, you don't need to know no A skip, no B skip. If you can build a relationship and all you know is, you know, 10 200s, hey, you'll get something out of that. I'll tell you, am I lying?
Yeah, you ain't lying, bro. That's just what it is, man. And I've seen Coach Holloway in action at his practice, and he walks around with his baseball bat, and he don't play the radio. And he has an expectation and a standard in his environment. And you look what those boys go out there and do. Like, how are you on the tail of Team Adidas in a 4x4? Collegiate NCAA record, World League. Come on, man. How you there step for step with the Stevie Gardner, Grant Holloway,
Erriyon Knighton.
Erriyon Knighton, the Quincy Hall, you there, bro? Like, what the hell? But just being able to produce year after year and what he's done is amazing. So, you know, I'm just grateful that, you know, Adidas and Erriyon's agency partnered me with him because he literally made me a better coach. We're going into year 2 with Nightmare, and it's just amazing of what we've been able to accomplish with him, and to continue to keep him grounded, keep him hungry, and keep him wanting more, man. And man, they haven't seen the best of him yet.
Definitely. And I know you talked about special relationships. I know you get the chance and the opportunity to coach your own kids, your son in high school, your daughter in club track. What's that been like? Because I know some people, you know, they like to, you know, send their kids to someone else, be like, hey, I'm gonna let them coach my kids. But you've taken the prerogative to be like, hey, if you guys come out to track, I'll coach you. And, you know, what's that been like?
It was, you know, rough at first, but we got it. I think a big part of that was, you know, I've been coaching my son since he was 7 years old. And I told myself the high school coaching here isn't the best here let's say at least in Tampa, right? Yeah. So I wanted to make sure that I was where I can continue to coach all of my boys coming out of AAU. You know, I coach at an all boys private school, top of the notch school, Catholic school, right? It's a smaller version of IMG, you know, where the sports there are phenoms, you know what I mean? We state title or regionals runner up, whatever. So to be able, I want to say going into his 8th grade year, freshman year was a little rough. You know, it was separation of dad and coach, you know, and, you know, we would bump heads, but I think I give credit to Erriyon, with my son being able to train with Erriyon, see him every day, be at the house, hang out with them, just have that day-to-day relationship, to see that you have a kid that's running at the highest level of track, still take orders, still take coaching, still ask questions. What are you doing wrong? He got to see that firsthand. I'm going almost every weekend, whether it's with Erriyon or it's with Speed Capital, or I'm doing, you know, a training camp that I'm being called out for, you know, to come up and do training camp, speed camps. And he sees all of the gear, all of the boxes that comes to the house. Like, he's looking at bigger picture, like, holy crap, I think my dad kind of knows a little something, you know, and just to see his time continue to drop over and over again, for him to get faster at every meet, from the time that he got his first offer from the hometown University of South Florida, he gets it. He gets it. He gets it. My daughter gets it. My daughter's a 6-time national champion. She was running 103 at 9 years old. You know what I mean?
And for y'all who don't know track, that's gangster. There are Bantam boys who cannot run 103.
Oh, ran 103 at 9 years old. Mackenzie Terry, like, elite. You know what I mean? Like, my daughter was gifted. She had the opportunity to be raised in track, so she saw the do's and the don'ts. She saw the practices. I had to kick her off the track when she wasn't old enough, because she just wanted to be a part of it, had form and everything. My son, he has to work hard. And my son, he's better than most because he's a grinder. He has the will to be great. And he hasn't gone through his growth spurt, because, he going to be here when he grow. But he's just a dog. So to be able to put that type of responsibility on him at the high school level, that, hey, I need you to carry this team along with some of your other MBK boys, and then pull from the football team. We just came off a state championship title, and then have a bunch of kids that never ran track before, because we're not allowed to turn kids away at my high school. So I have to deal with, I have a sprint group of 80 kids. You know what I mean? So I have to go through the whole season, and it's just me and my other coach. I have to go through the whole season with these kids up into districts. And then when they start falling off, it's like, yes, you know, yes. I went from 8 to now I'm down to 15. Let's get it. You know what I mean?
You are preaching to the choir. I be like, here comes the district qualified. These knuckleheads finna get out of here.
Out of here. Do not come back out. I love you. I appreciate you. I hope you learned enough a lot. Come back better. And to go in and just literally give up a district title, which we did. We came runner up. We was far superior than everybody in our district. To come back with 13 boys and win a regional title was just, I want to say our best put together track meet, and have my son lead the pack and winning 100 to 400 and then be our anchor leg in the 4x4. It's been great. And so he understands the responsibility, because I always say, and my motto is, to whom much is given, much is required. And I mean that, like, when you're called on with the purpose and the gift, people are going to request more out of you. They're gonna desire more out of you. You're gonna be scrutinized no matter how good you do. People are always find certain things to knock you about. And you gotta keep pushing. You gotta take it with a grain of salt. I've dealt with it. I've dealt with hate since, Erriyon and I have, accomplished what we've accomplished. It comes with the territory, Yeah. I the whispers, but you gotta forget it. Like, whatever, dude. Like, you want to be where I'm at, or you want your club to be where my club is, So you just kind of silence the noise and just keep grinding, keep your head to the ground and keep working, and let the body of your work, through your athletes, do all your talking, and keep it moving. And that's it,
Definitely. Now, let's pivot from track for a little bit. Now, I want to figure out, how did you become a Steelers fan in Florida? Like, if y'all have never seen Coach JDot, this man is the craziest Steelers fan I've ever seen. This man got his terrible towel. He be going up to Heinz Field. So, like, how did you become a Steelers fan?
Man, so my dad, growing up, I'm born and raised out of Florida. My dad, he was just a big fan of defense. He was originally a City Chiefs fan, right? And then he became a Steelers fan back in the early 70s, just because of, the steel curtain. So growing up in the household, we couldn't cheer for no other team but the Pittsburgh Steelers. When the Steelers won, it was a good week in the house, right? When we lost, boy, it was just shut up, get the hell out of the way, stay in the room, and make sure, make sure everything is done. And man, it has transcended, to generation after generation. I'm a diehard Steelers fan. My kids, they better like the Steelers. I better not dare hear them cheer for another team.
No Buccaneers.
No Buccaneers. I support them because they're the hometown team, but I'm strictly Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't know crap about football, but I know the Pittsburgh Steelers. You know what I mean? Like, basketball is my favorite sport. AI is my favorite basketball player of all time. It's AI, then it's Braun, then T-Mac, then Jordan. Those are my top 4 favorite ball players. You know what I mean? I love basketball. So it's just, when it comes to the Steelers, nobody can argue me about the Steelers, because I know everything about them. And it's just great to be in the atmosphere, waving my terrible towels, when Renegade plays, when we need a big play. Oh, mama, man, come on, man. The atmosphere is just good. And I'm an a-hole, so I like to go to I like to go to the home of our AFC North. I like to go to away games and have my terrible towel. I be getting cussed out. People talk reckless to me, but I'm in your grill. Like, boy, we got 6 rings, dog. Forget what you talking about. So, man, it's just good, man, to be, just die hard for the Steelers, man. We are a Class A organization. We produce great athletes. We probably have the most, if not the second most, Hall of Famers and that's just what it is. So that's how I became a Steeler fan, and there's no other way but Steelers.
And I saw you got the chance to meet one of your favorite NFL players, Antonio Brown. Man, what was that experience like? Because his work ethic is legendary. People forget with all the antics and all that, but that man is a grinder. Like, if you know his story, no one outworks him. Like, you get the chance to see him at a practice. Oh my goodness.
Absolutely, man. AB is my all-time favorite football player. Why? Because of his work ethic. To see his training regimen, how he takes care of his body in the off season and during the season, how this man could be triple covered and still get open. AB is that guy. He's been the best wide receiver throughout his duration when he was with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Everybody's like Julio Jones. Julio is amazing, but he can't stay on the field. AB, year after year, producing crazy numbers, like the best wide receiver. So to be out there, he came out to my high school to train, and he recognized Erriyon. I met his trainer, and man, I told him, man, I said, man, we're big fans, man. He gave my nephew the Steelers football that he was practicing with. And it was just cool, just a real cool guy, misunderstood, crazy with his antics, but a cry for help like Kanye. But you can't take away his body of work and what he's done. And he can still go out there and be one of the best wide receivers in the league right now. So, man, it was just amazing to meet him. And just, it's always great to meet Steelers, that Steeler players that's done it.
Definitely. Now, you guys picked up a quarterback in the draft. What you think about Kenny Pickett?
Man, I would have loved to go with Malik. I'm thinking the Cordell Stewart Flash give you a different feel in the AFC North. We got mobile quarterbacks. We got Deshaun Watson, we got Lamar Jackson, and we got Joe Burrow, who's elite. Boy can ball, you know what I'm saying? And he's mobile, so we got to be able to match that. However, so I wanted Malik, but I like Kenny because Kenny was the best quarterback. He's across the street from, where the Steelers train. He understands the schemes. He understands the playbook. Pitt kind of plays out of our offense. So he's familiar with it. And we're thinking, what Big Ben did coming out of Miami, Ohio. We're looking for him to come in and do the same exact thing. So we'll probably ride with Trubisky on the first few games, but eventually Kenny's going to take over, and I think he's going to be good for us. He's definitely going to be good for us. I'm not mad. Sure. We picked up 2 wide receivers that were pretty good, one out of Georgia, one out of Memphis. So
you got Pickens, right?
Yeah, Pickens, yep. So, man, I'm excited about that. We produce every Georgia player that we picked up has been good besides Jarvis Jones, who's been the biggest bust of all time on the Steelers defense. Jarvis Jones, get out of here, dude. It's embarrassing what you did coming out of Georgia playing like that. It's terrible.
Man, I can't even talk about my Texans. We so down in the mud, man. I didn't even bring them up. But to get back to track, what has been some of your favorite moments as a coach, over these past couple of years? Because how long have you been coaching?
I'm going into my 8th year. This is my 8th year in track, from my first track team to now. The highlight of the top moments was my son winning his first national championship in the 800 meters. That was in 2018 after he lost his grandma. He dedicated his season to his grandma, him and my daughter. That same year, my son won the 800 meters, and my daughter won the 400 meters. And that one was so special because that was like my last year with Rainey. And I trained my son because my son was a 4'8" guy. I wanted him along the path to Rainey, right? Yeah. Rainey's 4'8", 1,500, right? I wouldn't let my son run the 1,500 because he had the foot speed. So for him and Rainey to win the 800 meters in that same year was pretty dope. Rainey, so that was good. One of my other favorite ones was when Rainey missed his race at club championship. He was trying to get a headband. And he completely missed his whole race with his age group. So I told Rainey comes up to me and I was like, dude, I was looking for you. Where you been? He was like, coach, I was getting my headband. I was like, oh, God. So I made Rainey mad because I went off on him, right? I was like, dude, jump on the track and let me worry about it. So Rainey ran 14 years old. I think he was 13 at the time. He ran up 14 years old. I pissed Rainey went out there and beat all the 14-year-olds by at least 3-4 seconds in the 800 meters. He walks off the track. We go up under the tent. The parents getting ready for awards. The parents raising hell. He's 13 years old. He's not supposed to be running in this age group. Like, no, he doesn't deserve, like, no, he calls ruckus. It was down there, Royal Rumble at Disney World of Sports. So that was dope. When Erriyon, the semifinals at trials, when he went, when he had to race against Terrence Laird, Noah, I think he went 1986, 1984. When he finally cracked 19, he called that race. He called how he was going to run it. He told me what he was going to do in the race. And I was like, oh, I'm not happy with that. He was like, no, coach, I got it. And boy, oh boy, that semifinals race was where everybody realized he had arrived. And that was one of my big moments outside of him making the team. What else? And then I would probably say this regional meet last Thursday to win it with my MBK boys, with my son to lead the pack. Those were probably one of my top 4, top 5 moments as a coach. I want to say not performance related. I had a kid that was getting in a lot of trouble. Doing any and everything. Parents couldn't control him. Mom couldn't control a single mom. And he got in trouble during tryouts. And the mom said, I'm pulling him from track. And he's just not going to do it. And I was able to convince him to stay. Since he's been running in my program, he has not gotten in trouble. He's mature. He's actually the biggest help at his school. He's probably one of my 3 leaders as a 10-year-old. He's very vocal with the kids. He'll run the extra. It's just the intangible things that you can't teach. And so off of performance-wise, that's probably been one of my greatest moments, to watch him transform as a kid and not getting in trouble, not being disrespectful, to being one of the most respectful kids on the track, off the track, and becoming a leader. That's what MBK is all about.
There you go. And we haven't even touched on Speed Capital. Man, you're doing great stuff putting on me. We've been talking for an hour plus. We haven't even touched Speed Capital. So explain to people what Speed Capital is and what you're trying to do with that.
Yeah, so Speed Capital was an idea that we originally started, that us as parents and coaches, we're getting tired of paying $45 to $50 to walk out of there with just a plastic piece of metal with nothing to remember outside of just our kids performing. So what we wanted to do was just take kids from all over the country, give them their visibility, follow them, develop the relationships with them as kids, develop the relationship with the parents, provide visibility to them when they come to our invitationals, to give them the full experience at a cheaper rate, to be able to have the Mamba package, which is a $550 package, the medals, the pins, the plaques, the wear bands, a partnership with the wear bands. The kids, when you're MVP, you get the wear bands, the videos, the highlights, like just everything that we do leading up to it, being able to follow the kids and to get the best athletes in every region to be able to compete, to have a JO national feel at a higher level, to be able to maximize that experience, having a DJ, bringing an overall, atmosphere at a next level, to where every round and every race is JO caliber. It's a bloodbath. And to be able to acknowledge those kids, what they're doing on the track, off the track, and just being able to bring visibility to track clubs that's in the local area, to allow them to host a meet to where AAU or USATF didn't grant that team a AAU meet, but to get a partner with the team, to let them get that visibility, to show them how to run the meet so that they'll be able to throw their own meets, to be able to fundraise for their track program so that they're able to take their kids, their top kids, or even their whole organization to travel, to compete in other regions, to compete in other states, to be able to go to different colleges on your off days, to take them on those college tours, take them to restaurants where they may have not been able to eat with their family. Just the overall experience, to get D1 recruiters to partner with shoe brands like Adidas, Nikes, and Under Armour to be official sponsors, to bring that visibility to them. And that's what we've been able to do since 2019. 19, we put it all in plan. 2020, we were supposed to have our meets. COVID hit, boom. We was like, oh my God, so much money invested, so much time invested, but we was resilient. Every obstacle that came our way from the three-letter entity and blocking us out, not wanting to be a part of us, not being able to let us come into regions, to have organizations put teams on our meets, on our days, and things like that, to get offered a meet in exchange to not work with us, to be able to be resilient and to still be able to win the people over, because people understand that we care about their kids. It's about our parents, athletes, and coaches and clubs, our PACCs. And it's not about the money, because what we've invested into it cannot be returned. The gratification of seeing these kids getting medals on their chest, making a big deal about it at the award ceremony, for kids to go out there and perform, to be able to give track teams sponsorship dollars, to be able to help their kids travel and to do whatever they want with the money through a random raffle. It's just been able to do that and work with the NCAA, and to now this year have our own national championships, and just to have a great experience, and that's what we've been able to accomplish. Now we are transitioning into football combines for those kids, taking our track kids and letting them, for those kids that are football first, to show them that track translates to football. And every last one of our football combines that we just did one in Texas and Dallas this past weekend, every kid that were top performers at those combines, they run in the AAU circuit. Like, people stop playing with track and field. Track, you should not be playing football year round. What are you doing? You know what I mean? Spring football is for kids that don't get on the field in track.
7-on-7, going to camps.
Come on.
Like, you talking about freshman kids, and you like, oh, they got to be spring football, 7-on. So, yeah.
You know what I mean? And we'll be transitioning to cross country, speed capital cross country. We stepped up and done what the other entities, the 3-letter and the 4-letter entities, should have done years ago. And now that we are this entity that is catered strictly to our
wants and the needs of the people, not just, oh, I'm 3-letter entity, I'm 4-5-letter entity. So yeah, you know what that represents, and you just put crap out there.
Yeah, it's just what it is. And so now with the 5-letter entity, now what they're doing, they realize what's going on. Say, hey, okay, we got the pro, we got the NCAA, we got that market on lock. The youth has failed. Let us partner with you, and let's keep this thing going. We love what you're doing. And so now our meets are U20 qualifiers, is a U20 qualifier. Our meets are, USATL sanctioned, but being able to run however we want it in single age groups, and their meets are qualifiers for Speed Capital Nationals. And so it's that partnership. They're getting it. You know what I'm saying? So I tell people we're not in competition with anybody, because we went to both entities where we first started and the doors got closed in our face. And so now nobody's ever stepped up, have came with the idea, but never fully executed, like my partner Luke and I and our team. it's been amazing. And man, we're so grateful for how we progressed over the past 2 years. We're in year 10. We're in year 10 and our plan in year 2. We didn't expect to blow up like this until year 10, and look at us now. So we've just been grateful. We try not to step on other track teams' toes. We try to work with them. If we just so happen put our meet on a day of another strong entity in the community, we'll move our date because we don't want any issues. We're not trying to compete with anybody, and we want the full support of all clubs, you know. And so we're looking forward to partnering with the Wings next year. We had a meet in Texas that was on their date, and we immediately moved because we didn't want that pressure. Like, we didn't want that type of, so we respect what the Wings has done. One of the best clubs in the country. And we want to partner with them. We don't want to be against them, you know? So, especially Rainey coming out of there. So, you know, it's just what we try to do, man. And so we're grateful to work with them next year. And Brain Speed Capital of Texas. It's been actually the hardest market to break into. We just got California. We have a West Coast national showcase with the best team over on the West Coast, the Pacific Shockwave, which is one of the biggest, best teams over on the West Coast. So, man, we're just steady grinding and doing things the right way, man, with the right heart. And, you know, we know that we'll be blessed. And so it's been great, man. Speed Capital is everything in the books.
Man, you're making an impact where impact needs to be made, because I remember I made a video last year talking about, you know, all this stuff wrong with track meets, and you guys are addressing those issues because there's so many things that's just been done that way for such a long time, and people are comfortable, even though it's crap, right? They're comfortable in the crap. So you guys are, you know, creating waves, and it's forcing the other programs and other entities to respond, because otherwise they won't be able to keep up, you know?
Yeah.
So, and people will demand more from them. So, it's amazing what you're doing. Now, we're getting towards the latter half of this interview. And so before we get into the fan questions, I want you to give you the opportunity, you know, just shout out anyone you want to, you know, give flowers to somebody, and, you know, anyone you want to really big up right now. For me, I'm going to big you up right now. So you sent us one of the best athletes I've ever been around, Darius, Rainey, right? And you say, you know, Wings did something, you know, with him that, you know, you couldn't have done. Man, you better stop. You sent us a gem. Like, he trained the right way, right mentality, everything we want in a Wings athlete you gave to us, right? And I really just want to say thank you, and really everything you've done for me, you know, reaching out to me, you know, even accepting this interview. I truly appreciate it, because I was looking around, I was like, man, JDot hasn't done any interviews. I'm like, man, I better hit him up, shoot. And so I just want to say thank you for that, because you're a big inspiration to me as a young coach, because I see what levels you're able to reach. And I'm like, man, I can do that too, you know? Yeah. So I really appreciate you for everything you do.
No, blessings, brother. I appreciate the sentiments, man. I'm forever humbled by the words, man. It's definitely been a journey, man. But now, man, just shout out to, you know, everybody that supports me, supports Erriyon, supports my Brothers Keepers Track Club, my Sisters Keepers Track Club, everybody that supports my kids, that comments on the videos, you know, that I post, even my personal life. You know, I have life outside of track, man. I'm a pretty cool guy, and pretty funny. So just all of the support, man. You know, I appreciate Coach Will, you know, the platform that he provides us coaches when he's doing, you know, his talks, and he's invited the IG lives, you know, with different coaches, with professional athletes, and just always giving gems. Coach Odom, like, people don't understand the skill set it takes to be a hurdler. Like, it's not just jumping over, you know, that it takes skills, and it takes a high level of coaching to be able to do that. So, man, just shout out to FASU, man. I tell Coach Coach Will, that his DNA is in my work. And that's one of the biggest compliments ever. You know, Coach Gabe, who's selfless and what he does, and just being able to drop gems on us. Coach Pep, Coach, O'Shea, Coach Danny McCray, Greater Houston coach, like just the athletes that the Wings and Greater Houston puts out there is just amazing. They're putting kids in college. And to me, that's what club does. Your club, they produce in high school, because you are the foundation. The club is the foundation. That's why club coaches, in my opinion, are better than and have more knowledge than these high school coaches, because, there's not a stipend check that we got to rely on. We have to, as coaches in the AAU world, we have to be problem solvers, we have to be mentors, we have to be influencers, and we have to be coaches. And so we're completely invested in the coach, in that child's well-being. We're invested into that family's well-being. If a family cannot get to the track, meet, cannot travel, Mom, Dad, I can't take you, but I can take care of kid. Mom, I understand that you working long nights. I can come pick him up. It's the sacrifices that we make. So, Coach Pep, Justin Braun, man, I see the work that he's doing is amazing, and how he goes about his business. Darius, Rainey, for making me the coach that I am today. He is my favorite athlete of all time. Like I tell people, like he's that guy. He taught me how to manage personality. He taught me that I can't coach every kid the same way. He taught me how to trust a kid when an athlete that puts in the work. Rainey for years has always wanted to run out front. He wanted to be out front in the A. I don't care. I'm going to run my pace. I'm like, no, you need to be on that shoulder. You get out aggressive, ride that shoulder. And now, coach, let me run it how I need to run it. Trust me. I need you to trust me. He never failed. And now that I'm watching him now he's out front. When he has competition, he's riding that shoulder. And, and I'm just like, boy, how the times have changed. But he's made me a really, really great coach. Shout out to, Erriyon Knighton. He changed my life. I needed him just as much as he needed me. And we've gone to the top, and what we have accomplished has been amazing. Shout out to Adidas. Shout out to Astra Partners. Erriyon's agency believing in me and allowing me to stay around and, keeping me along with the process. Shout out to MBK, my parents that ride with me, that deal with my Joe Clark ways, to my AAU kids. MBK made me, It wasn't Erriyon, it was MBK. MBK is the reason why I'm into track and field, and I'm always going to be around MBK because that's been my foundation, that's been my pedigree. Erriyon came from MBK. I will have many other. My son came from MBK, and there'll be many others that came from MBK, and we'll be able to see them at an NCAA level and hopefully in the pro world. Man, there's just so many to name. Influencers, once again, Coach Holloway has just been great for me, keeps me grounded, keeps me humble. And just everybody that supports me. And if I forgot anybody, charge it to my mind and not my heart. To all of my AAU coaches that allows me to be away from the team on meet days so that I can be with Speed Capital or be with Erriyon. They are the driving force, the heart, and the core behind what we do. And they make sure that my body of work continues and their DNA remains into the program. So, man, there's just so many to name, but those are the ones that come off the top of your head. Individuals like yourself, Coach, that continuously keep track and field relevant. Just the variety of the things that you post, your knowledge of the sport, the being a student of the sport, the fan of the sport, and not only being able to showcase the pro athletes, but the high school athletes, the AAU athletes, those kids that may not get that TV time for the news reporter. And I tell kids, you never know who's watching. And it's all about being at the right place at the right time, the right performance at the right time. And people don't understand. You may not PR every meet, but when your body ready to snap, it's going to snap. and you're going to run dumb, crazy time. And when you got individuals, that videotape, that capture those moments, to be able to witness those moments, it's a moment in time that you can't rewrite, So just grateful, for you allowing me, always keeping me in the process with Rainey, and just respecting what him and I have done in the past, to you guys taking over the torch and doing what you're doing with him, which I'm so grateful for. And yeah, man, that's it, bro. It's so many to name, man. A lot of coaches' DNA is in my work, along with my own DNA. So just grateful to be a part of track and field.
Oh, hey, man, let's hop into these fan questions. They're going to be hot. So first one, this is from Lamont. He said, how did we meet originally? So I'm trying to think, what was the first time I DM'd you about Rainey's commitment video?
So it was, we exchanged a few words after Coach Will brought me on his first IG story. And then you ended up following me, and, we just kind of conversed back and forth through DMs. And then the true reach out was when you asked me to give my piece on Rainey's commitment video. And we've been rocking since.
And what's crazy, now that I actually think about it, one of my first videos that really popped off on my YouTube channel was about Erriyon signing at 16, right? I didn't even know you at the time. I didn't know Rainey was his boy at the time. I'm just like, hey, this kid just signed and he's 16, signed with these. That's crazy. And to think, like, a year and some months later, I'm here talking. That's actually kind of crazy. Go from being a fan to where you just linked in like that. So let's see. This one's from my boy Colin from Track World News. He says, how do you feel about the comparisons between Usain Bolt and Erriyon?
It's an honor, right? It wasn't until we was in Bermuda, last month, and because in the very beginning, it was cool, but Erriyon's like, I'm Erriyon Knighton, and it's cool to be compared to him. Such a milestone. He will always be the GOAT. Bolt will always be GOAT. Because his body work over to be able to run 9 seconds and 19 seconds, right? I'm cool with it because I understand what Bolt put in, especially after listening to a predecessor of his and sitting down over dinner in Bermuda and just listening to him tell me the things that Bolt went through, how he trained, for him to see it firsthand. He's a pro. He signed with Adidas, I believe. And he watched it firsthand, and just to hear the stories, I was like, oh my God. And so it was to see him run 1919 and 958 and to understand that he did that in 6 months, you know what I mean? And he said the first 6, Usain Bolt, he partied, right? But he locked in those last 6 months, training 2-3 times a day, being separated, from, family, from friends, just being completely focused on his craft. To be able to do that from weight room to changing the way he eat and everything, like, it was big. I think now Erriyon is okay with it. In the beginning, that was always a question that they asked him in interviews, and he's just like, I'm Erriyon Knighton. It's cool, it's great, but I want to build my own legacy. So now to see them do the comparisons where they were at day and age, like, people don't understand Erriyon's only been running track for 3.5 years. Usain Bolt started as a younger teenager. As a middle schooler, I believe. Middle school, he's been running since then. So Erriyon has fresh legs, and what he's doing right now, he's learning over the past 3 years. So what he's doing is accomplishing. Everybody jumped the guns like 1949, he's going to break Usain. No, 1919, it's 1919. It's hard. Does he have a chance to do it? Yeah. I think he'll be able to do it in 3 years. It won't be this year. If he does, I think he can be the number 1 American to break Michael Johnson's record at 1932, I believe that is. He has a chance to do that. So we're just trying to make history right now. We're working on getting 9 seconds in this track meet next week at the ATL at the University of North Florida, and then we're going to Prefontaine. This will make Erriyon the fastest teenager.
Y'all going to Prefontaine?
We're going to Prefontaine.
Oh, you already know your boys.
We have in a 100 meters, and it's going down, bro, like fearless. Like Erriyon has a lane. It's one round to get 9 seconds. If he does 9 seconds, he'll be the fastest teenager ever. Usain Bolt, he ran 19 seconds in the 2, but he didn't do it in the 1. Trayvon Bromell ran 9 seconds in the 1, but he didn't do 19 seconds in the 2 as a teenager. Erriyon is going for the fastest ever, and he got it. And the only thing we needed to do is fix his start. So he got 2 more chances at 18 years old to make it happen this year at this time frame. So yeah, man, we happy with it. But now he's making a name for himself, so it's cool.
Definitely. So we talked about that one. So this is from my boy Gerard. He was asking, what diet do you normally recommend for your athletes? So what do you normally have them to eat?
Man, to get Erriyon on a diet is on a specific diet has been a task in itself, right? My boys still love Chipotle, still eat hot fries, Cheetos, chips, and stuff like that. But again, he's a kid. He eats school lunch, you know what I mean? Snacks. He has some local restaurants here that allows him to come in and eat for free. You know, shout out to Burger Spots. Shout out to Etso, Chill. I pronounced that wrong. Mexican spot. But he pretty much eats kind of what he wants to right now. Race week, we kind of change it up. We get him cleaned out. Lots of pasta, you know, get carbs, grilled chicken, salmon, fish, vegetables. Not a big fan of salads, but we get that in. Some gut protein, beans and stuff. So that's probably the closest to his diet you'll see him as of right now. Right now, we work in his media marketing agency. Rubicon is working on a sponsorship with a meal prep entity. And once that, then we'll clean all that up once he gets out of school. But it's kind of hard to manage that with them still being in school, still being a kid, letting them still be a kid. But he's running at a high level, so I ain't really tripping on it right now. But after May 24th, things will change.
There we go. All right, next question from my boy Jordan. He said, "Are you him?"
As far as Erriyon or me?
You. Are you him? Are you a him?
I'm that guy. I am the Coach JDot, Coach JT, and I am the Joe Clark of track and field. I'm that guy. I'm the energy. I'm the life. I'm the purpose. I'm the fuel. I'm the fire. I'm Leonidas, and getting my crew ready for war. The motto was run violent, I coach violent. My kids run violent. And we apply pressure every opportunity that we get. We don't see you to the left. We don't see you to the right. You call for me. You send for me. I'm coming. And that's just what it is. And may the best athlete win. May the coach win. And I made a post about when your kid PRs and run some stupid fast time, I'm on you like this, like, when I've outcoached you, I'm looking at you like, boy, stop playing with me. I told you. And probably one of my funniest videos that I post here and there, it was a coach that was talking all this trash. We were in Atlanta. Erriyon, you still didn't know who Erriyon was. Erriyon, they had this really, really good kid. And he was like a 10-5 guy. And I told this coach, watch out. And I'm also Coach Red Solo, right? You know what's in the Red Solo Cup. When it's a light work day, you know, I'm that guy. You know, I sip a little bit. And I just chilling. I just sit back. So I'm just literally walking up and down, the coach selling out or whatever. And I say, watch this. Just watch this, guys. Watch this. And I didn't even watch it. And all I saw was Nightmare. I'll post that video later. I'll tag you. And all you saw was this Nightmare just high step and ran a 10-4, 10-4-0 easy. And he was just high stepping, and it was crazy. And I went to pour up my coach up. I poured the coach up a drink and say, hey, cheers. Cheers to the new day and age of sprinting.
Don't you know you're wrong for that? You know you're wrong for that.
Hey, man, I could be a real petty coach. I'm cool. You know, I dap you up. But when I'm at track meets, man, it's game time. I'm trying to beat your head in. And I'm trying to impose my will on you right alongside of my athletes. If you beat me, I'm going to come love you up. I'm going to dap you up. I'll never put a kid on the track. Whenever you step on that track, you surrender all excuses, all injuries, all reasoning as to why you didn't win that race. I don't take excuses. You got your butt whooped. Learn from it and be better. I expect you to be the first one in practice. So, yeah,
he is him, confirmed. So let's see. The other one from Biomotorsport Institute was, what do you do to help your athletes mentally prepare for a race?
Man, one, again, it's about the relationship to understanding that it's okay to fail. You know what I'm saying? You won't win them all, you know, just understanding that, bro, if you put in the work, if you're grinding every day in practice, that reward is going to be on the other end because you're going to PR. Another thing is meeting times in practice. I've been to a lot of track practices and I see a lot of coaches not using times and certain marks. You got to have times at certain marks to reach. That's the only way you're going to get better. That's the only way you're going to be able to feel how you feel when you're in a track meet, right? You cannot surprise your body the day of the meet. I hear giving a lackluster effort and practice and then going out there trying to push your body through. Nah, bro, we ain't been practicing like that. So it's just that, again, I'm the Joe Clark of track and field. I'm Leonidas when it comes to my motivation speech and my energy and my move coming out the last bit. When I call move, you know, I'm just there. Like my kids know when to go. They have marks and they know when to go. So it's just it all starts in practice. The expectation and it is the standard. Like my kids know that if you don't perform in practice, you're gonna run unattached for the weekend. You're gonna run unattached and you won't have on the MBK MSK uniform. Who wants to do that? You're gonna learn how to honor the sacrifices of your parents, the sacrifices of your coaches, and the sacrifice of your body. You gotta learn to honor that and honor the gifts that God's given you. And I preach that so much. To whom much is given, much is required. And you honor that by effort and giving it your best. So mentally, preparation is just the standard that you know what I want from you. Just like I know what you want from me. Because I'm doing 3-4 practices a day and you get the same ounce of energy. You're the last practice of the day. You're getting every ounce of my energy, 110. I ain't miss a beat. I'm sweaty, probably stink. I probably got an attitude and I'm locked in. I ain't come to play with you. No, we finna get this work and we're gonna get up out of here. So just mentally preparing them with the mindset that they need to be in there to be able to compete and that everybody's there to chase you.
There we go. Next question. Let's see. So what was it like to see Erriyon run 19.4? And specifically, they said, were you surprised that he ran 19.4?
Bruh, listen to me, right? I never miss Erriyon's races. I travel everywhere with him, right?
Yeah.
This was the 1 week. I'm like, it's a college meet, kind of give you the UF vibes, University of Tom Jones, Florida Relays vibes. You know what? I haven't seen my AAU team compete all year long. I was like, bruh, like I told his agent, I was like, nah, I'll sit this trip out. It's good. He'll probably go 19.79, right? He'll go 19.79 at best, just to open up the season. Cool. That's not his end goal, but he'll open up the 19.79. Bruh, I'm at the track meet at the University of Central Florida. Here I am. I knew what time he ran because they were an hour behind, right? Central time, right? His agent, no, my videographer, shout out to Ubor Films, Todd Timmons. He's the one that cuts all of our videos, dude. He told me, he said, I'm supposed to be with Justin Gatlin and Team Pressure shooting a video at Jackrabbit, at the Jackrabbit Sapphire Invitational. I have a feeling Erriyon is going to do something special this weekend at LSU. He said, I don't know what it is. I got a feeling he's going to do something special. I'm like, all right, cool. All right, whatever. So I get him an all-access pass, whatever. His agent get him an all-access pass, LSU, cool. I'm watching my kids. It's finals day. No, it was on a Saturday. So we were running the 200 at the same time. They were getting ready to run the 200. Man, his agent calls me and said, he calls me and he said, gangster mother. I said, what happened? He say, man, this boy just ran a 1949. I literally said, what? I like you got on some skates, And bro, I literally ran across the track while a race was going on through the middle of the field. And I said, are you serious? World lead, fastest time this year, number 2 as an American sprinter, 4th all time in the 200 meters. Man, excuse me, the yard man out here. And man, I was blown. I was crazy. Erriyon hit me like, yeah, 1949, I'm him, and I'm coming. I say less, my guy. And bro, we've been putting in work. So our agenda is the 100, these next 2 races. He going for 9 seconds. That's what he wants. We've been really working on his start. And we're going to go get it.
There we go.
It was insane, bro. It was insane.
Let's see. Let me pick out 1 or 2 more for us. Okay, this is definitely one that you highlight too. So what's one thing you always tell Erriyon when it comes to life on and off the track?
A couple of advices I always give him in this business: never watch a man's pocket. Every time, never care about what somebody a contract or whatever. I don't care. Never watch a man's pocket. 2, I always tell him every time he step on that track, see nobody. You respect your opponents, but understand that you'll always be the underdog until you make that medal. Until you get on the medal stand, you'll always be the underdog. Go out there, be fearless, be gangster, go handle your business. In life, man, we're kind of still figuring it out. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have it all figured out, but I teach him to be humble and to stay grounded. And he's always been that type of kid. And the main thing for him is I'm not done yet. I haven't accomplished what I want to accomplish. I haven't did what the expectation is, what people said I couldn't do. I've proven everybody wrong so far. I'm not a one-hit wonder. I'm not a two-hit wonder. I got to continue to get better. So I just always tell him to stay hungry, stay grounded, and let his body of work speak for itself. Watch your company. Coach Holloway always tells him to act like you've been there before. That's why you never really see any motion. Runs. He runs this race. He walks off. The 1984 was special to him, or the 1986 was special to him because that was the first time he cracked 19. Where he ran in a tunnel. That was pretty funny. He's just not. It's funny because he reminds me of Tim Duncan. He's the Tim Duncan of track. Just really no emotions, and he has that mindset that I've been here before and I belong. He's not a groupie amongst the other athletes. He's highly respected. What up, young kid? Shouldn't you be in school? What's going on? You know what I'm saying? Like, he got big brothers at the pro world, but it's just like, oh, okay, still asleep. Got it. Duly noted. Let me give you this work on the track. Walk out, dap you up, love on you, see the next time we run. Introvert, always game and ready to compete. He blocks out the noise. He doesn't like phone calls or text messages the day before the meal, the day of. Talk to him afterwards. So if you've reached out to him, called them, text them, hit him up on IG, that's just his safe space before he competes. He acts like every race is the big dance. And I respect that about him. But just teaching him to make good decisions, to have a great discernment, to watch who's for him and who's not for him, and to always know that he has a microscope on him everywhere that he goes. And that was proven. After he came back from the Olympics, he had on his USA gear. He had on a USA t-shirt, which is branded Nike. It got back to Adidas. You only allowed to wear that USA stuff throughout a certain time frame. I think it's like after, it's during the Olympics and like the next 7 days. After. Yeah. The week. He had it on out of that market. It got back to Adidas, slapped on the wrist. And that's one of those things. So that was a good primary lesson to always know that everybody's always watching you up on a microscope. You're not Erriyon Knighton anymore. You're Erriyon, the Olympian nightmare. So everything that you do will always be up on the microscope. And two, he's a kid that reads all of the comments. He reads everything that people write and says about him. He watches all of the videos. And I always tell him, never get caught up in the negativity. Go out there, let your performance do all the talking for you. And he's able to do that.
And so this will be the last question. This is one I just thought of. What is your ultimate end goal as a coach?
Oh, man. It's crazy. It's crazy that you asked that. I feel like I've reached the highest level of coaching, right? Long term, I hope that I will be in the number when it comes to Adidas or Nikes for them to see the body of work of Erriyon and I have put together, that I will be one day that Adidas specified coach that will be mentoring a kid that's up and coming out of whether they're from high school or collegiate, to be able to mentor that collegiate coach or that high school coach or that club coach on the pro circuit, to be able to be who Coach Holloway is to me. So that is the ultimate goal, to probably continue to coach Erriyon and have about 2 or 3 more world-class sprinters or athletes up under my belt, and to take them to the Olympic level, to put the OLY behind their names, to have it behind mine. I'm Olympian coach. Like, damn, what you say, Erriyon is Olympian. That's part of my life. And so it's great. I reached the highest level, but I don't know everything. So to continue learning from the guys that's been doing this 20 plus years, 15 plus years, to continue to get better, to coach at every level. I always wanted to be at the collegiate level. Maybe one day I'll get there at the collegiate level. But, for me to never stop learning is an end goal. And 2, to have more world-class athletes up under my belt, to be able to coach and manage to be a part of the selected few, like the Coach Dennis, the Lances, the Mike Holloways, and all of those other coaches, to have my own camp.
Definitely. Well, as y'all see, this is Coach JDot. We've been sat up here and almost talked for 2 hours. This man is greatness personified. He's bringing the energy. Hey, appreciate y'all for tuning in. This is the MJP signing out.
Appreciate you, brother. Much love, fam.